So earlier this week, finally got the Flying Lemon Diversity receiver module for the Dominators in the mail. Took a little while from Poland. The tracking is basically useless because I kept checking it, didn't update, and then it arrived and it still hadn't even updated. So the Polish tracking site did say it left, but the U.S. excuse me, the U.S. site hadn't updated at all. So all you'll get is the Polish tracking site saying that it left the country, and then some days later it just shows up at your door, which is fine. I mean, it got here. So the Flying Lemon, it's not to be confused with Lemon RX for the satellites and the receivers that we all use in our mini quads, but the Flying Lemon have their own diversity module. So if you look at this, this is also a 3D printed cover, just like the LaForge. And now there's that Furious FPV, the Furious True D. And I think they use basically the same system as LaForge, although they put it into one module, and you get two antennas sticking out of it, just like this one. Whereas LaForge, you have to wire somehow either in front of your goggles or through the goggles, take them apart and wire something through the goggles and have the antenna stick out here. So now I prefer this all in one place. I don't want to take the goggles apart. But the Flying Lemon do have an option where you can, instead of getting the two SMA connectors, you can get one with the UFL connector, that tiny one. And so you can extend that and have it come out and mount something on here if you so wish. Of course, you have to modify this door or whatever, but I got the one that comes out. The SMA comes out both at the same place. So if I turn this on, you'll see the blue light. And there's no screen. So yeah, you're saying, well, how do you change the channels and stuff? And this is the reason why I got the Flying Lemon. You do everything through the menu buttons. So you know, two advantages is that well, the main advantage, really there's one big advantage. You don't have to take off the goggles to look at a screen here. You don't have to mess with a dial or anything. You just do it through the buttons. There is a caveat to that, and that is, you know, they made it so that they didn't want you to accidentally change the channels while trying to get into the menus while you're flying or something, or they didn't actually want you to get into the menu when you're just trying to change channels. So yeah, that's what I meant to say. So there's a sequence that you have to do, and I'm still working on it. I haven't perfected it yet, but it's something like down, down, up, 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 or something like that. And you know, when I first tried it that first day, I was doing it maybe 50% of the time. Now I'm probably doing it about 3/4 of the time. But I'm getting there. So you know, you just have to do it fairly quickly, and then the screen will say, you know, 4 more up clicks to get into the menu, and it'll go 3, 2, 1, and then you'll get into the menu. And in the menu, you can change the band, boscam A, B, E, and then Fat Shark F, and then race band. So you need to get into the menu to do that. You need to get into the menu to calibrate RSSI when you first get it, and you need to get into the menu to do to auto scan and to do the spectrum analyzer, so you can see the spectrum all on the screen, which is the other thing that's great, is you don't have to have a screen in front to look at that kind of stuff either. You just look at it all through the goggles. And one other thing it does that I like, the normal immersion, the next wave receiver, you change channels and you pretty much know the channel you're on by getting to that channel and seeing a picture. However, sometimes you can see a picture even though you're not on the right channel if you're on a close by channel. And what I've always done to to mitigate that is, when to ensure that I'm on the right channel, when I have a picture, I will cover the antenna with my hand. And if you're on a slightly off channel, normally the picture goes very bad. You know, about 20 feet away, your quad's 20 feet away, you cover it. If you're on the right channel, your picture still should be solid, and if it's not, then you were on the wrong channel. But with this, you don't have to do that, because when you change the channel, it'll flash momentarily on the screen like 5645, and then go away and then show you your camera, your image. So I do like that it actually tells you what channel you're selecting, so there's no mistake. You don't have to cover this with your hand and make sure, otherwise you have to cover both of these or whatever, you know, and kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, blue light's kind of cool, but that's not really. Well, let's pause here. Yeah, so anyway, I've got some DVR footage. Hopefully I captured some with me going into the menu so you can see what the menu looks like. And let me take this apart here. Just the board. There is one thing I had to do that was bugging me a little bit. So it comes in this box. pretty simple. There's this thing here which you can solder together. I think for this is for firmware updates. Haven't had to do anything with that yet. Stickers, put that somewhere. Let's see if I get this open without too much trouble. The good thing is it's 3D printed. Even though it's 3D printed, it's on there. It's on there pretty good. So to take it apart, I actually use something. There, I used the phone clip. And here's the cover. Now here's the one thing. So this is a piece of fuel tubing. Because when you just put this cover on here, this whole thing kind of, it rocks a little bit, rocked back and forth, because there's nothing here pushing against this heat shield. They should have had a little piece of ribbing, I think, on the printed cover to push down on that heat shield, but just by inserting this fuel tubing right there and placing it in there, and the fuel tubing can withstand quite a bit of heat, of course, it's silicone. So, and then when I put that on there, it pushes down it, and then it doesn't rock back and forth, so it's perfectly fine like that. And somebody else did a review, so I don't think I need to go over what this thing looks like on the bottom. If I could even get it out. So, you can see it's got receivers on both sides. The heat shield is on both sides because it's sandwiched. There's 2 SkyZone receivers, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. But you know, I flew it today and it looks great. I like the picture. To me, it looks fantastic, and I'm going to be honest, it's probably the best signal reception and image I've had out of my Dominators, these HD V2s at least. So I'm going to show you some DVR footage, and you know, I've flown, I can fly the same distance I did, as you'll see, but not without a little bit of static. Or there's one spot especially at my home field in the southeast corner that just every time I go there, that's the worst spot. I'm always a little bit afraid. There's some pucker factor because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my quad or put it down or have to walk and go get it. So there was one spot actually today where I lost, you know, radio control of it using just a Diversity Lemon Satellite RX, and of course I had so many things blocking. I was sitting in a chair and there were so many things between me and my quad, so I'm sure that's why I lost the radio signal. But I had perfect video until it was on the ground, and when it was on the ground, then I had a little bit of static just because it was on the ground. Any 5.8 video signal that close to the ground is going to have some issues, but otherwise I had really good video, and if I can find that, I'll put that in the clips too. So let me screw these antennas back on. So yeah, now with the that silicone tube in there, you know, it's pretty solid. Before there was a little bit of rocking, so yeah, I think they need to modify the cover to have that little here's the original Next Wave receiver and cover, and on mine, show you this, I had just parallel wired a 2-position dip switch to mimic the one that's in there, so that way I could change my channels without having to take this cover off. That made life so much easier. But yeah, this has a rib down the middle here, and that thing pushes down on this, so you know, this one, when you install your goggles, doesn't rock. The Flying Lemon rocks a little bit, so it needs that. They need to put a rib in there or something. So, okay, let's go over this footage. Okay, so here's me going into the menu to view the spectrum analyzer, and then you can just see the channels. I was on E4. I don't know who was on which other channels, but you can see the spikes there, and then it just kind of repeats itself. So, and then this is me choosing Fat Shark band so I could watch somebody else fly. So you go into the menu, you use the down to select, and then up button to choose the one you've chosen. And then this next one is me flying around, and I'm gonna go through the trees here, and now I've just put everything, a lot of stuff between me and my quad. Okay, so along this fence, right at the end of this fence here, right around here, normally I have really bad video. So today it was really good. And at this point, there's only 2 of us flying. So, and usually I can fly by myself and still have bad video, but the fact that there were 2 of us now is having perfect video is great. And it could just be the day too, because every once in a while I get a really good day for video. So today could have been one of them, but usually even at that spot I get a little bit of static, but today was just fantastic. Nothing, not even a blip. And then here, this I wanted to test what it looked like flying behind me, because I don't know, there's no indication of if when you're switching between the receivers, there's nothing that says you're on receiver A or B, nothing about the diversity situation. So I just wanted to fly behind myself because I had the Fat Shark patch antenna in front and then an Omni, and I just want to see if I could get some static. And obviously I am getting some static, but it's not bad at all. I mean, it's perfectly flyable, and I have to assume the Omni was taken over at that point. Okay, so then this is just, I'm going to let this run. This is just us having kind of a friendly race at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I've only done about 15 batteries so far, but based on the fact that this is my home field and I know it pretty well, I know where the bad spots are. I'd say so far it performed really well. And at the end, during that last DVR footage, we were flying. I think there were 4 of us, and usually when you have 4 people, your video is it's gonna suffer a little bit, and there was some static compared to the very first one when there were only me and another guy, 2 of us flying, and I went all the way to the end of the field. So there was obviously a little bit more breakup, but compared to stuff I've had before with 4 of us flying, it was pretty good. So the real test will be at a race, 5 or 6 guys, and continued use. I'm still getting used to getting into the menu, so that's one thing. The other thing was there's no ribbing on the cover, so it doesn't keep the module down, so it jiggles a little. And fuel tubing, really easy solution that works for me. I wouldn't mind getting the STL file and having somebody print this, and I could just add the ribbing and have it printed, and then that'll work really well. But so far the fuel tubing works great too. I like seeing everything on the screen. The battery life is a little bit worse, obviously, because there's 2 receivers. The heat, you can feel that it gets a little bit warmer, not bothersome at all. I put my hand over here and it's just a little bit warmer. It's not dangerously hot or anything. You're not gonna fear for your goggles. Um, so this 1000 milliamp, it wasn't even fully charged when I actually was it? Yes, it was fully charged. So I did about 15 batteries using the DVR, which I now have the firmware where it auto records as soon as you turn on the goggles. So the DVR just starts right away. So that's even if I wasn't using the goggles or was watching somebody else's feed, the DVR was recording, and that'll account for some of the battery usage, but definitely the diversity system will use more battery. I do have the immersion, the next wave diversity antenna module on the way, so we'll compare with that. And the antenna module is just two antennas on one receiver, so you would think as long as it chooses the stronger antenna signal, shouldn't be too much different, and you don't see the switching happening. I couldn't tell if it was switching from one to the other on this one, to be honest. I don't know when it switched. I wish there was a small A or B or something on the screen that tells you which antenna it's choosing. But the next thing to do would be to take this to a group meetup with some other guys and have the LaForge, this one, and then the immersion diversity system, and then a regular next wave module. All four of those going on at the same time for the same flight, because even if you did two flights back to back, you can never guarantee the same results, even on the same system. So the best thing to do would be have them all on one flight, and record the DVR footage, and then do a little comparison. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get that done if I can get all these guys to show up with the right equipment. So yeah, based on 15 batteries, I say I'm pretty happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I'm really happy with it. This combination of the antennas, I think, works out really well too. So really fantastic signal, and the picture quality to me is really good. Not much better, or I'm sorry, not much different, or maybe even a little bit better. So yeah, really happy with it. All right, thank you.